Sam Seder on the Majority Report in studio. It is a pleasure to welcome to the program. He's desperately seeking.
No,
what were you looking to dial something up?
To turn the volume down in my headphones. Yeah.
Oh, well,
What could
you
that
gotta,
possibly
you gotta
mean?
Signal.
What do you think I'm doing?
I don't know. A guy who's known for his meaningless hand gestures, David Cross, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said earlier, you may know him from Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
If you're over 35.
98% of our audience here is actually over the age of 58, according to our surveys. So they may know you, Bob and Dave, and also Arrested Development.
If you're between 20 and 50.
One of the things that Dave is also known for is his encyclopedic knowledge of the demographic breakdowns of every product he's ever put out.
Every product you put out.
Increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret.
That's pretty much across the board.
Across the board. And like I said, my daughter, Mila, knows you from Men in Black.
Okay.
She asks me every day, usually, who my guests are, and I'll say something like, Johan Hari, who wrote this book, Chasing the Scream, or Erwin Chemerinsky, who wrote The Case Against the Supreme Court. And she just sort of looks at me, and today, David Cross. Oh, from Men in Black.
Right, yeah.
And she has not been introduced to your entire oeuvre. But also, Hits.
Yes, now Hits.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
All right.
Yep. You want me to
that's it.
do the work on this? All right, fine.
So Hits, David.
Yes.
No, all right. Well, we'll talk about the movie. But what have you? Let's talk about the movie.
All right.
I watched it.
You don't. So let's dispense with the chit chat, the pleasantries, the.
No, I like to do a little bit of both. I mean, we can do. Did you want to talk about the weather or what's going on?
No.
Are those new tats?
No. You've seen these. Might not have seen that one.
What's that one?
We're not above 35.
This is the cover of my favorite book, the original first print.
What
edition.
book?
Masters of Atlantis.
Oh, all right.
Charles Portis.
Why is that your favorite book?
What do you mean? I mean,
Haven't you given it any thought? You just slap the tat on there? You don't even think about why you like that book?
Of course, I've thought about it. It's. I mean, he's my favorite author, and it's my favorite book of his, of which I've loved all of his books. But I guess because of the subject matter, which kind of deals with human gullibility and fallibility, and it's about a long, it spans something like 40, 50 years, maybe longer. A guy who ends up being a figurehead for a cult, a religious cult that has a really big heyday and then dwindles to nothing. But it's his life, and he's kind of a simple guy. It's great. It's a great book.
If I ever get a chance to read fiction again, I will check it out.
Yeah,
I don't have much time for that anymore.
that's too bad.
It is too bad.
You found 2 hours to watch Hits.
I did, actually.
Should have read the Masters of Atlantis. Much better, much more.
What are you pointing at? Oh, sort of sounds like Being There. Is that true? I don't know. No, it's
there's a similar quality. It's not like it at all. But he's not that simple. I'd say the protagonist in Being There is he's slightly retarded.
He's quite simple.
Yeah, and this guy isn't. Just has.
But just that idea of people projecting qualities.
Yes, and not just projecting qualities, but people who are manipulating this person for their own less than altruistic reasons. Yeah.
I mean, there's an element of that in Hits on some level, to the extent that the ability for people to rise.
I actually gave Matt Walsh, who's the one of the leads in it, who's playing the character that you're referring to. I gave him Dog of the South which is another Portis book, and said, "Read this. This is the idea for Dave, who's the name of the character he plays."
All right, well let's do the quick synopsis of the movie. I have to be careful. I'm really bad with spoilers, but basically, it's the story of a guy upstate, or really, I guess a young woman upstate. There's a lot of characters.
They're weaving stories, but they all center around really those two, the father and the daughter.
Right, and the daughter wants to be a hit, I guess a huge celebrity, ostensibly
she wants to be famous. She doesn't care how she gets there, which becomes, I don't want to spoil it either, but it becomes clear she doesn't care. And she, that's my observation of what our culture has become. And she feels entitled to it, and I get it. I get why people of that generation, because that's the world they've been brought up in, where and she just wants it. She feels like she'd be a good famous person. She should. She's got more to offer as a celebrity, not for any defining talent. Just she should be famous and rich. And her father is a very simple guy who basically has no desire for any of that, doesn't get it, but in a sense of irony becomes famous, and she's not becoming famous.
And he also realizes the value of it at one point too, right? I mean,
sorta. I don't think he really. I think he's happy to go along with it. He just wants his potholes filled. That he gets famous for, and I don't mean like massively famous, but he gets a rant of him at town hall, of which there are many, goes viral because the son of the woman at the town hall sees it on YouTube. It shows this couple that he sells weed to, who are they represent the other side of this thing. And he's, they're like this hipster couple in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and he decides to make it his cause to go up and fight the man, and things get out of control.
And it's really, it's not so, to a certain extent it's his cause, but there's also sort of, it is talking about there is a sort of internet marketing sort of like I don't know how to really articulate what that is, but it's partially about politics, but it's also simply a part about like sort of the entrepreneurial, we're going to go up there with all our internet tools, and then that becomes a huge competition between other internet outfits. One of my favorite lines is at one point where he tries to trump another rival sort of group by saying, like, I'm from Greenpoint, and they say, well, I'm from Bushwick. And then...
but he also goes, you're cute with your Greenpoint. We're out of Bushwick. And that just stops the conversation.
Yeah. And
I've been in that conversation.
I think, outside of Brooklyn, I'm not sure how many people get that specific joke, but
we screened in London we went to the Sundance Festival there, and I'd say it did even better there than it did in Sundance in the States, and it did well. It screened well, but I don't think you have to know the specifics. I think you get the idea.
Well, that's the thing. It's like Adomian, who plays that character, James Adomian, who I think people might remember. He did a lot of great Bush impressions during the Bush years.
But he's
a very good actor.
Good in this.
Yes,
he's so
excellent,
believable. Yeah,
and you can tell what the dynamic is, and so you don't need to necessarily know why it was that he was deflated, but that he was deflated by that. But it's funny because you don't even have a Twitter handle.
No,
are you even on? I'm not really on Facebook, so I don't really know who else is not on Facebook.
I was on Facebook to promote, and I went. Reluctantly, I got on Facebook to promote, at the insistence of everybody, to promote Todd Margaret, the second series, and
which incidentally got picked up for a third season.
Yeah, well, 3 years later, I had no desire. Well, if you know how the show ends in nuclear holocaust.
That's not necessarily wrapping anything up.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, they approached me about, I think it did okay when it first came out, but then on Netflix, it's just mushroomed. It's crazy. It's gotten this huge cult thing that and as I said, it'll be 3 years between the series 2 and series 3 when it finally airs, and I was like, how, so they approached me about doing a third series, and I was like, no, it's over. The story's done. And then out of respect to the folks at IFC, and I really like them a lot. They're really great people to work for. But I said, look, I'll approach the other writers and see if they have any ideas. I have zero ideas to make this viable. I certainly don't want to do a prequel or whatever. And then one of the other writers, this guy Mark Chappell, came up with, within an hour of sending the email out,
pay us a lot more money, and then
no, unfortunately that's not part of it.
That's
the budget
not
for
really
that.
business.
First of all, the budget is so small. Then you go to London, where the exchange rate really kicks your ass, and we're doing it for pennies. But anyway, Mark Chappell came up with this brilliant idea of how to do it. So,
well, let's hear it.
No, I can't. I can't give it away. I will once it's completely different. It will eventually become Todd Margaret, and the character will become the Todd Margaret you're used to, but not initially. It's a completely different world, and I can't give away too much. But it's never been done. It's a
let's
crazy
just play
idea.
it like you did. Breaking news. Title this, Cross reveals what third season of Todd Margaret will be on.
It's already been tweeted at.
You jumped on that. I was going to give you that at the end of the.
It sounds like a Jew farted.
That's. Oh no. Let's just okay. Let's.
No, put it back on. I want to see it. I just saw one. Wait, please.
Okay.
Please. Wait.
Oh God. All right. Don't look at my code.
Sam's passcode seems to be. All right.
Okay.
Wait, I want to get this one.
Don't piss.
Oh, sorry.
Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining.
That's from the outlaw Josie Wales.
I
don't know
like
if you
it.
remember. Which brings us into the idea that we would actually title that YouTube in such a way to get hits. It brings us back to hits.
You just got the double meaning.
I just got the double meaning. And
how you like it, guys? Did
we
you
started
get the double meaning?
I didn't see the movie, but from the ad, I was able to get the double meaning.
no,
sound.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't.
speed
I
up,
didn't-
my
Sam saw the
friends.
entire movie and just now got
I
the
got
double meaning.
confused by her desire to be a
Hit.
a music hits, like a
a
hit
hit.
music, right?
Right.
And
Yeah, there you go.
Am I the only one who got it?
the movies. Let's be honest.
You're
movie-
not the only one who got it. Sam's the only one who didn't get it.
Let's be honest. The film is too subtle, and so I think it's clear. And we'll talk about the model that you're using afterwards. But I want to stay on this. I mean, so you're not on Facebook, but
I
for
am
the
now.
promotion.
I want to clarify. I was on for Todd Margaret. I let it lapse. I have no desire to be on social media. I don't care for it. It's not the waste of time I choose when I do waste my time. I choose to waste my time differently.
But here's the thing that is interesting to me about it is that and I use Twitter is an invaluable tool.
I get
for
it.
me.
I'm not disparaging it. I get it totally. I see why
But
it's.
what I have seen in the comedy world, because I basically follow mostly journalists and people who are writing about politics now, but I still have, I still sort of observe what's happening
You
in
have
the
a
comedy
human
world.
desire to be entertained.
No, I don't actually. It's really more sentimental than anything else.
Sentimental?
But I mean, these
Are you excited about the
people are
upcoming 50
my
Shades
friends.
of Grey movie?
Sam
to
probably
be
doesn't
honest
even
with
know
you,
it's
I
based on
honestly
a
didn't
book.
even know. I didn't even know about it. But
Do you get the double meaning there, Sam?
But there has been something like the idea of Facebook and Twitter as means in which to brand yourself and the entrepreneurship involved in it. I see it mostly.
Entrepreneurship? Are we going to let that slide, guys?
What is
I don't
entrepreneurship?
wanna- I don't-
Is that not a word?
Is it an entrepreneurship?
He's done so many good W impressions over the years that it's seeped in.
Wait, the entrepreneurship. Yeah. Okay.
Entrepreneurship.
Thank you.
Process of starting a business.
I think you were trying to say entrepreneurial.
No,
would have been
the
more fitting.
entrepreneurship of it.
No, it's like an entrepreneurial activity. It's fine.
Well, yes,
It's
but
okay.
the entrepreneurship is an adjective, which does which
Is it an adjective?
Yeah,
Adverb.
adverb.
Yeah, no.
much.
this thing is
Hey,
going
I have a
really
joke. I have a joke.
Wait a second. So the
I
point
would
being
like to share it
that
at some point.
you see this people building their careers off of it. Comedians building their
Yeah. Definitely.
you see people building their careers off it. No,
Yeah, of course. Yes. Or certainly.
but you don't witness it. You're not on Twitter.
Yes, people use Twitter to advance their careers. Definitely.
it's you know, a very real viable tool, but to me it seems like it will be, and I don't know if this is just wishful thinking, but it will be discovered that I think if you for people who quantify likes, you know, or followers, I don't think that necessarily translates to the lucrative money-making possibilities that you know, publishers and movie studios and TV studios think it does. I think that will be discovered to not the people who do monetize their Twitter fame or their Facebook fame. And I put that in quotes, because liking somebody is just about the laziest, easiest thing you can do, to click on like or a thumbs up symbol. I don't think that necessarily translates, like people who get, you know, a $5 million book deal because they have 1 million Twitter followers.
And we should say they don't get $5 million, but they do get huge. I mean, I think you're right.
I think we're going to soon see that, that doesn't translate necessarily to $5 million worth of
Right.
purchases.
Twitter is definitely not as good of a measure as, let's say, Facebook, which is much more easily monetizable.
It's
No,
sort of,
I'm
no,
using
sort of-
them
no, I know.
as the
interchangeably.
Same thing.
it's
but
sort of
there's-
the entertainment equivalent of slacktivism, I feel like you're saying. Like that the idea of this notion
No.
of substituting internet activism for
No, I think
No, I'm not
that's
saying
not. I think the point is that there are people out there now who will entertainment executives who will say like, oh, this guy's got X amount of Twitter followers. That must mean they actually have these amount of fans, and this
Right.
is
and those fans
transferable.
will then go
Transferable.
and pay $20 at the theater if I
Right.
give this guy. Like there's a guy. There was just a story 2 weeks ago in New Yorker about the Vine. These kids who have Vine channels who have 6 million followers. Getting these big deals to
Well, shit, my dad says became a sitcom off of Twitter.
a failed sitcom.
Yes.
Because you can't replace good writing or ideas, which we found out, or they found out.
I don't think anybody is. I don't think that's ever going to end at one point, because I always think that like, what's that noise?
Something like outside.
Oh, well, I hope nothing crashes into the window. But I think like that is never going to be fully replaced, because the people, the television executives and film executives, if you have some metric, even if it's false, is always going to give them like something they can rub, and it's their magic elixir.
I do think, yes, that will always be the case, and always has been the case. But I do think the current practice of throwing millions of dollars and a studio and production facilities behind somebody who has a bunch of Vine followers, I think those days are soon to be over.
It's been a while though. Like
It has been a
You
while.
could even go back as far as MySpace and how like people got music deals off of there. And
Yeah, but music deal is I'm showing you here's my song. MySpace is a great facilitator for that, and now I can see your song. Other people are seeing it. So
That's actually
that's
the
a
end
tangible
product.
thing.
It's not.
Yeah.
They're using Vine as something
Yes.
that's predictive, as opposed to where just playing music is. Well, that's actually what the end product is, and we can measure the popularity of what the end product we're going to sell. I mean, the thing that drives me nuts on Twitter, and that I have seen, and this relates specifically to comedy, is there is also this quality of like. People hold back their criticism of stuff to like there is within the comedy world, and this is maybe just a very narrow slice of something, but there isn't short of Andy Kindler, who
was gonna
really
say
like
Andy.
honestly. You see, there's this sort of like the same thing that bred mediocrity that I sensed when I was in sort of television, which was like everybody in the room sort of saying like, I'm not going to say anything if you don't say anything about how bad this is. We'll just let the thing keep going. It breeds that on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook, but Twitter breeds that, it seems to me, within the comedy community, where everybody's like, I'm going to be very supportive of what you're doing because, look, this is a vehicle in which we drive followers and this and that. And it doesn't necessarily impact Hollywood, let's say. You can't tell from a Twitter follower who has 500,000 people. But it does impact you if you're like a touring stand-up or if you're doing a small show, online show or whatnot.
Well, I think those things are different because the executives in the room that you brought up, who were like, we're not going to say it's bad. We're not going to speak that out loud. It doesn't matter if the product's bad. It just matters if the product is sellable. So they don't give a shit if it's bad. Why would they care? I mean,
Or
there's plenty
even
of bad
sellable.
TV
I mean,
out
I
there.
think
they don't care.
I guess what I'm saying is that there is a sense of like my fortune is now tied into your fortune in a way that wasn't existed before social media.
Right.
So it's not just that the television executive is making a difference, is parsing between what is quality and what is sellable, but it's rather like it's corporatized it.
Yeah. Okay.
Insofar
I
as
get you.
you're in a bureaucracy, and I'm not going to fuck with that guy because that guy needs to help me move up in the ranks too.
We're all in the same boat.
Exactly.
All right, let's hear your joke.
Oh, great. So a couple of middle-aged Jewish ladies are out for lunch.
That's racist.
Sexist.
It's sexist, ageist, and anti-Semitic.
You
all
got
in one.
ageist in there already?
Yeah, you made a point to say middle-aged. Let's see if it has anything to do with the joke.
I think we'll get some class in there as well for the punchline. Let me reset before the interruption. Okay, so a bunch of middle-aged Jewish ladies are out for lunch, and the waiter comes in the middle of the meal and he says, "Is anything okay?" That's my favorite jokes.
Yeah, I don't know why they have to be middle-aged.
Why
say,
wouldn't
just
they?
say
don't
Jews.
think so.
I didn't even listen.
Just say some Jews are at lunch.
Jews are at lunch?
Yeah.
I don't think that I think that
And
makes it a lot less funny.
really elongate the J.
See, that's the funny
So
part.
Some Jews are eating lox and bagels, and they're complaining, and there's knishes, and they're begging the kids to go to law school, and then you really want to hit that Jew point. I get it. I have a different angle on it.
All right, moving on from that. But we should also say that on hits, you're distributing it in a strange thing. Have you not heard this?
No.
Mom!
What is this?
Why did you do that to me?
Oh, is that the fat guy who plays video games who freaks out?
No, this is
It's on YouTube. There's a guy.
reparative therapy. This is like a therapist who helps people not be gay anymore, and he takes his tennis racket and bangs it on the couch.
Because that made me a little gay hearing that.
it
That's
should have
odd. It has
actually
the-
made you less gay.
Yeah, it has the reverse effect.
Back to the lab.
Wait,
so-
what is it? Mom, why did you do that to me?
Yeah,
So he's gay because his mom.
did something to
Something.
him. Well, that's how you get gay.
Yeah, no, I know.
You're
know.
not
It's
aware
fact.
of that.
That's
You know.
science.
And the way you shake it off is to hit a tennis racket against the couch.
Mom, why'd you do that to me? And then he has an actress play the mom who pops out of a door and goes, "Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you, kiddo."
He actually has her just sit behind the couch and talk back to her as if she was the couch. So wait, so you're releasing this on BitTorrent? Is this the first movie that's actually like? Is BitTorrent moving into? Yeah, tell us about that.
this was it came. This whole thing came about, and simultaneously with BitTorrent, it will be in. Hopefully, if we hit our Kickstarter thing, which it looks like we may, we will be in theaters. And right now, we've got I think 35 small markets, and that'll expand based on the money we raise, just to get in and rent theaters and pay the staff and get copies in the format they need to be in to the theaters, and pay for a slight bit of marketing to let people know it's there. But it's pay what you want.
Too bad you don't have Twitter. You could market it cheaper.
No, it's true. It's true. It's pay what you want
In the theaters.
In the theaters, yeah, and on BitTorrent, and it's the first movie that's being released on BitTorrent like this in this way, and it came about out of we went to Sundance, as I said, and we it screened well, and we got as the credits were rolling, we got 2 offers, and then some more came in. But something that I have zero control over is the producers, and this is what every movie does basically. You hire a sales agent, and then the sales agents deal with distributors far away from you, and over the phone or email or in a bar or coffee shop or restaurant. They make those deals, and the deals that we were being offered were very typical for this kind of movie. It's
They could make the deals in like an office too, like a conference room. Could be also.
Not legally, no. And the deals are, they're trying to secure the best money and the best deal for them, so they'll make the most money they can, because they get a cut, obviously. The distributors get a cut, and the sales agents as well. And they were all very standard deals. Basically, plays in New York and LA for a week, and then,
Goes to aftermarket VOD,
VOD,
Netflix,
yep.
Amazon, iTunes.
and that's it.
Right.
And that's the very standard.
And they do that in New York and LA just because those are the media markets, and that's the way they kick off the campaign for the online distribution and whatnot. And that's
Exactly. And you have to play for a week if you want to be considered for awards. And New York and LA make the most sense because of, as you said, they're the biggest markets. And it would end up in, pick 2 cities out of the next 10 biggest ones. So
Right.
San Francisco and Chicago, whatever. And that was fine, but also you have no control over marketing or any of that stuff. And that seemed really deflating. It seemed, it's what people do, but, and I don't have a lot of confidence that this movie is going to be one of, out of the 120 indie movies that come out in a year, this is going to be one of the 3 that just picks up steam and
Right.
It's
Gets
just
wide
not
distribution,
that kind of
right.
movie. And that was depressing that it was, I made a movie. I didn't make something that I intended for people to watch on their iPhone, and that's when the producers were the ones who came up with this idea.
Now, we should also say this is before the iPhone 6, which is a much bigger screen.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah. But, it's a movie. It's meant to be seen ideally in a movie theater with no distractions. And I spent a lot of time for little money, nothing. And I didn't, I'm not like the sales agents where I have my heart in this. I don't want
Right.
people
The
to see
value
it.
for you is not just in what the bottom line is.
It's not a
like
check for
how
$98,
widely disseminated it gets.
Yeah,
and
and
in what manner, I guess.
And that's why we have the Kickstarter thing, because I want this to play in theaters it would never show at.
Right.
I don't have the list on me, but I know that some of the theaters are like, and these are theaters that reached out to us, like saying, "Hey, if this is successful, we want to be a part of this." And Tucson, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Boulder, Colorado, Sonoma, places it would never, ever,
Right.
ever play. And now we have a chance for fans of mine in places that I normally don't get to on like a comedy tour or ever to go and watch the movie. And I'm really excited about that. And hopefully this is becomes something that people can do in the future.
A good model for it. We'll put a link obviously to the Kickstarter. And last I checked, which was last night, you were only like $8,000 away with 12 days or something like that.
Really? I haven't checked. I didn't check today, but I didn't check yesterday either.
You are now less than $6,000 away.
Holy
See
shit.
that? Just
awesome.
moments of being on this show.
Awesome. That's great.
Look what has happened.
So once we hit that, we have at least 35 markets, and anybody, if you have a theater or if anybody is listening to this and wants the movie to come to your town, contact the producers, which there should be information on the Kickstarter, I hope. Don't contact me, but contact the producers, and we will. This is all going in this list of theaters that we have, and which will be out on February 12th. So, and we will happily figure out a way, if it makes financial sense for us, to bring it to whatever town you're in.
And go to the Kickstarter just to see not the trailer, but like
the trailer's on
the
there.
The trailer's there, but the video that you did too on Hollywood Boulevard.
How ironic is that?
What
the idea? Well, you'll have to go to the Kickstarter.
But it's
page and
good.
check
I
it
mean,
out.
that is the
yeah.
thing.
We didn't
is
plan that. We thought, okay, because I was in LA writing with on this other project, and we're like, okay, we'll shoot this thing because we have to make a video to explain what you're raising money for. And I was like, yeah, I'm actually in Hollywood. We'll just go meet me on Hollywood and Vine, and you'll see the video. I could not get through it without people coming in, because they don't know who I am. They just see me talking in front of camera, and they're all taking photos. Somebody who knew who I was started it, but then other tourists are in there like, who's that guy? Wait, they're taking pictures of him? He must be famous. I want to get a picture with him. No idea who I am.
Right.
And I'm in the middle of shooting a video. It was insane. You'll see it. It's on the Kickstarter thing.
It's really funny because it
ridiculous.
also ties in nicely to the whole theme of the
exactly.
movie, which is like, I'm going to have an opportunity to be on television.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is like the lead in this film. Now she's, I don't know, I guess in her early 20s in the movie, right? Maybe
She's 19 in the movie.
Okay. And her attitude towards all of this is almost identical to my 9-year-old daughter, and it scares me that
It's
she
that
won't ever
generation.
grow out of it.
No,
She's like,
that ship has sailed.
she's like, Dad, you're on YouTube? And I'm like, yeah, but it's not what. And she's like, that's like being famous.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Well, it
no,
is.
it's
She's right.
not."
You're
But,
wrong.
I mean, and this is a
Surprise!
this is like the attitude of their generation. But I'm not convinced by. This is like this is what I do to Janine when she's here, and she hates it. But to a certain extent, it's not inconceivable that in 10, 15, 20 years, there are no aggregated audiences except for massive productions. And then everything else is very small things. Like, for instance, like Todd Margaret, we're not talking about like this thing is very successful, but not necessarily by like the standards that we had 25 years ago of what is successful, because then you had
just
50
being on,
million people watching MASH
yeah,
or something.
being on TV was success in and of itself,
Because at that time, you couldn't be on TV without an audience of literally 20 million or 15 million, because you're on network television. There is no subsidiary channels. And that it's just getting more and more stratified, it seems.
Yeah, you just have to. I think the difference now is you have to be, if you want to do those things, you have to know that you're not going to make a ton of money. You're not gonna, to be on IFC, to do an indie film. I'm thankful for the opportunity, because 20 years ago, Todd Margaret never would have been on TV ever. It's just not that kind of idea that would ever get funded. So, I'm quite thankful for that.
But let's also clarify, when you say not a lot of money, it is at that moment for, it is relatively speaking a good living. But the problem is that it may take you 15 years to get to the moment where you have that. And so when we get paid off in show business, it's supposed to cover all the years that you're not getting paid literally anything. And right? I mean, that's
I guess that's one way to look at it, I suppose. I mean, the the 10 years I put into, getting a lot of verbal abuse, doing stand up in the back of a country western bar in Falmouth, for $30
Well,
under
it was
the
a
table.
bad choice for you to exclusively do that one club for,
For
10
10
years.
years.
I mean, you really should have branched out. Everybody was saying, David, do a different club. And you're like, no, this is where I'm
No.
going to plant my flag, and I'm never going to leave.
That dude came back again? Seriously?
But yeah, I suppose that's part of it, and yeah, I mean, I've done 5 movies, I want to say, that made me some money, and that was it. Those are the only things that really made me a lot of money. I mean, Todd Margaret, I probably lose money when all things considered.
All
You
the,
know,
the
I'm in London
extra
for-
expenses of booze in London because it's like 1.5 more. What's the exchange rate?
When I was just over there, which was a couple months ago, it was 1.72.
So you're actually almost paying double for the amount that you
Almost
consume in
double.
terms of alcohol, and that's got to
That's
seriously.
a lot. I'm a heavy drinker, but the beer is better there.
Right.
It's cheaper. It's 3 to 4 pounds for a pint. But yeah, that's like roughly, those are New York prices.
Now you shot up upstate in the area where you spend some time as well, right? Do you have like a different relationship with the community now?
No, they haven't seen the movie. I do have a bit
But just
of
even when you were working
trepidation.
there, or I mean,
No, I've been living there. It'll be 7 years in April.
but you weren't necessarily like talking to the town council, were you? I mean,
No, I'm registered to vote there. I vote there, so my vote hopefully makes a difference as opposed to
I'm the
voting
same
in
way.
Brooklyn. The reason it's set up there, the reason I did this movie actually, I have a ton of ideas floating around and some scripts that are at various stages of being finished, but this was the idea that I knew that I could shoot the cheapest.
Right.
So that's why I went with this idea for this movie. And I called in a lot of favors, like, the stuff that takes place in the bar at the tap room is the real bar I go to, and my wife and I go to, which is, down the road a piece, and that's where we go. And, the diner is in Liberty. We shot in Liberty. And, these are places where
Was
I
that
have
the real city council chambers?
That's from in Monticello, yeah. Those are that's for real. That's the Monticello is, I think it's for all of Sullivan County is out of Monticello, and that's where we shot. Yeah. And these are relationships that the dump is the town that's where I go and have been going for almost 7 years, and we just ask people like, look, we're this little indie film and we don't have a lot of money. Can we, we'll do what we can, and so it was very much a labor of love and people, helping to make it happen. The community. Now they haven't seen it, so I don't know what their take on
Are you
it'll be.
planning to screen it up there, or
I would like to. There's
are you
there's
a little bit
really,
concerned?
really. I do have some trepidation. Yeah, there's a great, beautiful theater in Callicoon, which is in the same general area, and I'd like to show it there, just so all the people that worked on it and offered their time and services can see it. But I do have. I hope people see it in the spirit that it's intended, and don't see Dave as like it's not. I'm not coming in there with this broad stroke generalization of small town living. It's not that at all. And these people are very much their own characters unto themselves.
Now, how come you're not so worried about people from Brooklyn taking offense?
Oh, fuck them. Who cares about a bunch of feckless hipsters? No, I
That's
have.
why it's better to own a gun, folks. Because if you want to really strike fear in a filmmaker's heart, you gotta be a gun owner. Is that basically the lesson that we're taking from here?
No.
Like, I mean, you crap all over everybody from Brooklyn.
No, not everybody. I live
Everybody
in
in
Brooklyn.
the- everybody
you live
in the
Brooklyn.
movie.
No, that's absolutely not true. It's all about those kind of that kind of phony altruism, because I make a point to have the character you're referring to, Donovan, say this will make us famous. I make it a point that's and it comes. It's not like this epiphanal moment, but it comes like in his telling everybody why they need to rally around this cause. One of the things is, but it's really his chief concern. This will make us famous, because he also believes, even though he doesn't state it out loud like Caitlyn does, he believes they deserve to be famous.
Now, what is it? I mean, you say in the Kickstarter that fame is a disease. I mean, what do you mean by that? I mean, you don't have a problem with the notion of that people who...
Well, we're trying to make it kind of, it's a trailer trying to make these pithy short statements, but it's so I don't want to. It's not the place to elaborate on it, but I think fame.
No, it is. Here it is.
Yeah, in this
in this
majority www.majority.fm with Sam Seder.
Right.
This is the place where we can elaborate and elongate and bore people. Hopefully, we're boring people.
That is actually
the more I don't get to the point.
Our
but
demo definitely appreciates that.
Yeah.
I had multiple people yesterday who wrote in like, I thought today was going to be boring, and it wasn't. Which just gives you a sense of why they tune in. I mean,
well, that's what people come here expecting.
Right.
Yeah, they're trying to take a nap, and this helps them achieve that goal.
That's one of the things that radio and podcasting does, and people listen. No, but I mean, because you're saying like they think they deserve to be famous, but it's not really so much that they're is it that there are some people who deserve to be famous and some people who don't, or is it just that there's no other drive? There's an absence of another drive.
It's that. It's the latter. It's that. That's really what it's about. It's just the shortcuts, all the shortcuts we have in our culture today to being famous, and the idea that if you in the opening, not the opening scene, but early on, Caitlyn's driving her car. There's, they read Us magazine and In Style and all those things that are it's a cyclical. They all feed on Us magazine and In Style elevates people who are famous for being famous, and they all feed each other. If you take any of those elements out, they don't exist. And she reads, there's a book, Snooki's autobiography is on her car seat, and that's her world.
Right.
And she's looking at these people who don't have any discernible talent, and saying, and I think correctly, which is the sad statement that's being made, like, well, I deserve to be famous. I'm bright and vivacious, and I think I'd be a good famous person. I should be famous. That's her mentality.
It's funny because I feel like Howard Stern before any of this had sort of captured a little bit of that insofar as he would bring people on and allow them.
Well, he facilitated it.
Yes.
Not just captured it.
But yes.
He exploited it.
I think, on some level. But also, and I guess it's really just how do you, he always, I think in my mind, sort of flipped on both sides of that line as to whether or not it was sort of, I'm taking a mirror up to it, or I'm actually sort of taking a mirror up to it and I'm actually cashing in on the mirror.
Yeah, I don't think he would, he has any qualms about saying that. I mean, that is what he's doing. And I'm not judging it. That's
right.
That's good for him.
And so, when is the Mr. Show reunion?
I can't really say anything. Sorry.
Why?
Because it's not. We don't have anything set in place. But I will.
If something was set in place, when would it be?
If we were to do something, we'd probably shoot. I mean, it would probably be in the April-ish area in the Los Angeles region of the country. I would say.
Bingo. Just got a bunch of hits.
There's nothing set.
We can cut that part out.
I can't believe Perry Mason hasn't been used once in all of this sort of.
You know what I've just noticed over there? Why you have a Todd Margaret framed photo? Where is that from?
At your launch party, which was at the
that?
yes, I took that, and I got to say that. I got really,
That's
really
funny.
drunk. Like, I don't go out and drink that much.
No, because you're a thief.
No, well,
People
no.
will stop inviting you to places because you steal things that don't belong to you.
Well, wait a second. Now, wait a second. I got permission.
But it's also like I can see it's like stacked against the wall.
Well,
Like,
we
I only
just
see
moved.
Blake.
We just moved here
Okay.
about a month and a half ago.
That's a pretty sweet photo. I might have to.
It's a
walk out here
great
with that.
photo, and I was going to put it up on my own Kickstarter, but it may actually be like a reward for the Kickstarter. There you go. I went to that party. It was like the Half King or something like that.
Yeah, it was Half King, yeah.
And I got really drunk that night
Because the drinks were free.
because the drinks were free. But also, it's very rare that I get to go out. And I had gotten to that point with my first kid where I was like able to go out, and then my second kid came, and so I've got to wait another couple of years.
But this is what you hadn't gone to rehab, and you still had the blow problem at that point.
No. I never went to rehab, and the problem persists. And the head of IFC was there. That
Yes.
I can't remember that guy's name.
At the time, he was the head, Evan Shapiro,
Yeah,
who said one of the we actually in the very last episode, towards the very end of the very last episode. The Lord Mountford says something to his son, and that is we took it from this press release he gave about IFC, which is one of the dumbest things I mean, it's just empty. It sounds like it means something, but it's empty, and it actually doesn't make any sense, which he said, IFC, we're responsible rebels. And it's such a vapid, empty, illogical. It makes zero sense, and but he said it. He's very proud of it, and so that's what
I'm not even sure I know what it's supposed to project.
cool. I guess I don't know, but
Cool, but
But not too cool.
not crazy.
right, exactly. We're like rebels, but then the word preceding rebel negates being a rebel.
Well, it was basically what I was doing. I was going out and
Responsible
getting
rebels.
crappy drunk, but I still got home in time to make sure I woke up in the morning to
you're a
send the kid
responsible
to
rebel.
schools. But
But that's what Lord Mountford says to his son. He's like, when he finds out all the shit that he's done.
I
You're a
specifically
responsible
asked the
rebel,
guy,
and I
I
love
said, what are you doing with these pictures? And he said, I don't know. And I said, well, is that all right? I'm going to take one. And he just was like, okay.
Yeah, well,
was
that's
it.
because you were being a responsible rebel.
I was being a responsible
that's
rebel.
the-
I
that's
asked
what-
first, and then I took it.
That's what gets you the goods.
So what is next? I mean, aside from the Mr. Show reunion that you're definitely doing in April, what else is happening?
Please don't. Well, the reason we have to do it in April is because I go to.
Where will it air?
I can't. I can't say anything, and I really truly can't.
All right.
But,
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If it was to air, would it be on something that could be expressed in 3 letters?
No. Maybe yes, maybe no.
Okay.
It remains to be seen. We feel very confident we will figure out a place to go with this, and we are, out of my own pocket. I go to LA every other week, and I write with Bob and some of the other writers, and we're hoping that this pays off.
Okay.
And we imagine it will. There's a lot of interest in it, and we'll see. So, but I have to be in London on May 5th for Todd Margaret Series 3. That's all locked in.
And you're shooting it in one day.
Yeah, while I'm on the plane.
Just May 5th.
Well, I go there for the last 3 weeks of pre-production, and then we shoot the end of May, June, and early July.
Oh, that's exciting.
I'm really excited to do it because I get to play a different character. Todd Margaret's a really fun, goofy guy to play. He's so stupid. He's just one of the dumbest people on the planet. And but I don't want to give anything away, but the initial character I play that becomes Todd Margaret is quite different. So it'll be fun to do. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
It's a
And
crazy story. It's and again, I don't think it's ever been done.
what is
before.
it again?
Nice try.
All right.
I will say this, and I'll probably be saying this quite a bit as leading up to the airing of it whenever it does air. it will make zero sense unless you see the first 2 series. So don't watch it unless you've seen it, because it will make no sense. It won't be fun. It won't be interesting or entertaining. It'll be confusing.
Brilliant marketing ploy.
That wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't. That came after the fact.
What do you mean that came after the fact?
It's not like we intended to figure out a way to make people rewatch.
Well,
the
no,
first 2
that
series.
wouldn't be. That wouldn't be that. That really wouldn't actually be a brilliant marketing ploy.
Right. Then you'd be saying it sarcastically.
Right. No. What?